Good evening, everybody. How are you tonight? Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. We are glad to have you. It has been a long week for, I think, all of us. Friday night, he had some family stuff to take care of, but we do have ourselves a special guest in the normal people. We got Single Shot with us. I think he just went muted, so maybe he needs a minute. Kyle Lusky and JH586. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
That's one way to do it. There you go.
Hey guys, I'm glad it's Friday, like we've been talking about. Glad everybody came out to join us tonight, and we're especially glad to have Richard with us tonight, Mr. Single Shot, who lives in Maine and used to live in Georgia, down in Nashville, Georgia, down there. Nathan, how far is that from where you live?
Not very far. That's where Mooser's from. That's where Mooser lives, isn't it? Yeah.
Where'd you live, Nathan?
I live in Valdosta.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, right down the road.
I was actually going to let Richard, a.k.a. Single Shot, have the honors, but okay.
What's that?
No, just to say hello to everybody.
Oh, all right. Well, I want to say good evening to everybody. I enjoy getting on with y'all and chatting once in a while. It's been an extremely busy day today. The last 3 days, I've run this truck ragged, and it's run me ragged. So, it's been pretty busy. Hopefully, I'll be headed back north there after I finish this load, two-stop load, finaling in Virginia. And after that, I got a pile of stuff that I've got to do. I'm working on 3 or 4 different videos, and it's going to include the rifles and the pistols. This time, I've got a couple that I've got to zero in. I've got some work to do with the chronograph. I haven't done that yet this year. I'm slacking because I'm out here on the road so much now. But we're going to try to get those up and posted as soon as I get them made, and hopefully it helps out there. I did post a couple of other videos here a little while ago that I thought might be interesting and helpful to folks.
Yeah, and you also did a political satire type video around 4th of July, which I, for one, enjoyed. But as everybody knows, we try to stay as far away from politics as we can on our Friday night chats. We've been beat up by politics all week long, so by the time we get on here, we're ready to let our hair down, relax a little bit, and just spend time and fellowship and reloading and stuff. So, Richard, with you being a trucker and on the road so much, do you find that really hampers your efforts in reloading and shooting and stuff?
Oh yeah, that stuff piles up, and when I get back home, I've usually got to take care of some stuff around the house as quick as I can, and get the other stuff up and going. Of course, I've been working on the reloading area downstairs, and it's coming along pretty good. It's coming along pretty fair. If I was smart enough to put them out here on one of the videos, I'd like to put some of the pictures of what I've got set up so far. So we'll work on that slow but sure.
Well, again, we're glad to have you, buddy. And what is crap? Willie Collin.
Was it a dog?
That was Willie.
Willie always find the time to text just in that perfect moment. I love him.
Doesn't he know drill?
Let me see him. Let me send him a text.
Yeah, guys, if I accidentally stomp on one of you, I do apologize. I'm getting a little bit of lag here every once in a while, so I'll try to make sure I don't. But if I do apologize.
All right.
I want to say hey to everybody in the side chat. Thank you once again for making our Friday nights It really is a blast to hang out with our friends and just like Angel says, just take the day off. You start with your shirt and then you you take the day off in layers. It's really nice to hang out with all of y'all. I've got to finish editing a lot of stuff, and one of them is in particular for Oceans 374, our friend and brother Julio. I keep looking at the press. Sorry. I have to post this video. He's actually texted me and said, "Have you put that up yet? I might have missed it." I'm like, "No, I just haven't had time to do it." So, yeah, that's coming really quick. But I'm really enjoying this Friday night. I was supposed to be getting a special guest, a little beautiful German Shepherd puppy, but her current owner is feeling under the weather, so that's going to be in the morning at about 10 o'clock. So we'll put some of this on YouTube separately. So I thought I'd have a beautiful little girl, and she could say hey to everybody and maybe bark a little and eat some French fries. But yeah, had my heart broke.
Sorry, bro. So I'm showing 30 people here in the side chat, and I'm going to do a quick rundown because we don't have Chico. I guess I can do it. We got Jerry 1911. Glad you can make it, brother. Andy 79Z28. Broke Loader. Brother, I have not seen you, I don't think, before here, so let me see if I can give you a little bit of a subscribble.
Broke Loader. Hell, that's all of us.
Yeah, I know, exactly. That's a heck of a screen name. Warsaw Patriot, glad to see you. Thor's Axe, I really liked your 303 Brit stuff. I'm a 303 Brit fan, and so good to see you. Yeah, Willie the Bullet Man saying hello to Mr. Chapin, the Crazy Scotsman, Edward Petty, Uncle Yeem, Daniel, God is my judge. Glad you can make it, brother. 67 Rebel SST AMC. Lead Miner 44. 6-shooter Texan. Oh boy. Jeremy Gunslinger. William C. Chapin, Daddlap, Rap Tacos and French Fries, Hemi Scrub. Oh, here we go. Killing Time, The Awakening. I'm sure Vanessa Kitty's out there. John Phaser, how you doing, brother? Eagle Eye Shooting, Kenny's on the road, so he'll be in and out. Mag Max Gus, not to be confused with Mad Max Bus.
Not Gus.
Yeah. Good to make it. Floyd Hicks, appreciate it. And Reloader 762. That's all I got here. So, guys, I appreciate everybody coming out. I know some of you are dealing with some ridiculous weather out there right now. Uncle John, glad to see you. And I'm sure being able to spend a little time maybe inside watching some videos ain't exactly a terrible thing. But down here in southern Georgia, it's been we had some rains come through, and it is about as pretty as it's been in I can't tell you how long. Temperature finally took a break for us. But Warsaw Patriot, yes, I did. I saw the gun tube. I haven't commented on it yet, but I'm going to probably rewatch all of them. If you guys don't know Warsaw Patriot, he does a lot of good work. He's a really nice brother, and go check out his channel, or else the boogeyman will come and get you.
Yeah, he identified my Mauser as a German K98 that was re-arsenaled by the Yugos. So that's what Mr. Taco and I were chatting about today. And then KFW did a video introduction to the Yugo Mausers, and he pretty much said the same thing that Warsaw did. Not that I would ever doubt Warsaw. All you guys know more about that stuff than I do. I've only got 3 milsurps. I still got a lot of studying to do, and I wish I could afford some American milsurp.
Don't we all?
You know what they call a 4-door Yugo, right?
No.
A no-go?
What, Kyle?
A we go.
Ah, well done.
Oh boy.
Sorry, I asked.
You did watch it last week?
That's okay.
So that sets the pace for tonight. All right, let's dive in.
Dang, Scotsman. Hey, Mr. Dave, how are you, Thorzax? Glad you're here, buddy. There's Miss Capgun too.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you to everybody that came out last week and followed the Golden Brick Road there and went over to KFW's channel and did VRs and stuff for him for his giveaway for his 600 subscribers. I don't necessarily say that was because we said anything, but a reminder is not necessarily a bad thing. So I appreciate that.
So apparently Warsaw's got one just like mine, and of course he's done some research. Hey, Uncle Jim, how you doing? I got to get over there and watch that. He put a video out just as I was getting in here, getting everything ready for the night. So I'm behind on an Uncle Jim video.
I think I'm behind right now, so I'm with you.
I hate that.
I catch up to his at like 5 a.m. So
I was watching
usually about 30 minutes after he uploads them.
I was watching one of his last night as I was just laying down in the bed and fell asleep before I had a chance to comment. So, dang, Daniel, you're as old as I am, buddy.
Thorzak says 8mm is the undiscovered round. That it's funny because so much Mauser, but I kind of agree that it's underutilized because it does have a lot of case capacity and it's got a lot of good uses. I just think everybody jumped to the 30-06 when sometimes that might be too much case capacity. Maybe a 270 would be even a little bit better if it was in an 8mm case. I don't know. It's cool.
I think I'd agree with that. It seems to me that 8mm is pretty much right between your 308 and the 30-06.
And there is a substantial gap right there too.
Yeah, that 8mm is a pretty good cartridge. Not a lot of folks utilize that. I had a chance quite a few years ago to pick up a BRNO 8mm, and it's in good shape. I picked it up at a pretty reasonable price. I've got a friend of mine up there in Maine that's a master gunsmith, and I wanted to change calibers with that particular action, and he and I chatted about it there quite a bit. And the particular caliber that I was interested in, and have no problem at all with that BRNO. So I had a Adams and Bennett in the white barrel drop shipped to him. I told him to take it easy, I was in no major hurry for it. So he built me a custom built 29-inch barrel, medium taper in 358 Norma Magnum. And I'll tell you what, that thing is a brute. I had him build that thing for a potential bear hunt that I hope to go on here sometime soon. And I'm going to back it up with the Encore in 454 Casole. So that one there it's got a Timney trigger and a center point 3-16 by 44 scope. And so far, it's working out pretty well. I'm not gonna shoot it at that 3/8 inch plate that I've got that I've been shooting at. That's only rated for up to 308. So I'm not gonna try that. I don't know if you guys see that video there where I was working with a 308 before and shot that plate at 25 yards, knocked the whole blasted stand right over backwards. I says, well, there. I guess we got that one pretty well zeroed in. That was fun.
Yeah, we had a little bit of that type of action at the shooting range in Tennessee. Chico killed quite a few pieces of steel.
I heard you guys had quite a good time out there.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so where were you?
I'll tell you, if I can get a load out there next year, if you guys decide you're going to do it again, that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to throw a couple of rifles here in the truck, and I'm going to have myself a good time with you guys. Get a chance to meet you face to face.
Well, it's not going to be on July the 4th, I can tell you that.
Yeah. I think we ought to try that towards the first part of the year where it's a little bit cooler.
Yeah, end of May-ish.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Or end of March. That sounds better.
That's even better. That's even better, Kyle.
I got some stuff to tell y'all about, and y'all can do with it what you want. Hey, Big Al, glad you're here, buddy. Mr. Emperor. Josh, 243 Outdoors sent me a message on, I think he posted it on Headspace on the Georgia Shooting Connection. He was talking about how about like September 20th and 21st for our next meeting. And I thought, man, that's perfect. That'll be cooler. I said, that'd be great for next year. He's like, no, I'm talking about this year. He said, I'm ready to come back. So,
well, I've got a problem with that because I'm going to be off the coast of Tampa on a little deserted island on vacation the week of the 14th to the 21st of September.
There you go.
Well, he said he's just throwing it out there. We could do with it what we wanted. So
I love the way he's willing to just say the heck with it and stop at Waffle House and roll on back in. You know, that's killer.
Yeah, I tend to think that there's going to be more unofficial meetups up that way just because of how, it is centrally located for a lot of us, and it's, such a good location and everything. I could definitely see, Capkin and I running up there, for a weekend to go do some shooting and maybe some hiking or something in and out, and then see if anybody else wants to come, that kind of thing.
Oh, come on, guys. I've already had this plan for like 6 months.
Now, is there room enough to park a truck up there, Nathan?
There is a hell, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Good.
Are you with trailer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
if you're going to be with trailer, we're going to have to find a truck stop for you to drop it at and throw a kingpin lock on it or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I got one. That's not a problem.
Well, they had that other parking lot over there, but it would be hard to turn that thing around in there.
No, not really. Not if you're a truck driver. That's plenty of room.
Jamie, that little turn that I just made here just a little while ago would scare you. Turn from a skinny paved road onto a skinny dirt road. And that was fun.
Actually, if we could pre-approve it with the people at the weigh-in, that really would not be a problem at all to put a 53-foot trailer in there. It wouldn't at all.
Cool.
You turn around in the motel parking lot, pull up, back in, cock it in, drop it, and you're good. You ain't blocking nothing, and you're good to go. That's just the way I look at things because I used to do that for a living too. So,
cool. I'll say this about our next meetup, and next September would be really cool for me. It's going to be cooler during September. I know that's over a year away, and I don't really want to wait that long. And I mean, we can all just drop in and out up there whenever we want. But yeah, I think September will be a good time to plan that. And I will, if y'all want me to, I can check with Melissa and ask her what the hotel situation is like. And okay, Scotsman, think about September. We might want to plan two. What if we did one about March and then another one in September? And it's like a 3-hour drive for us.
Well, depends on how you go.
Okay.
It was a 6-hour drive for us to get there. It was a 2-hour and 15-minute drive for us to get home.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I got a problem that I think y'all can help me with, particularly you, Nathan. I seen you put something in there about 32 H&R. That revolver you got, that's a 32 H&R Magnum, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. What other cartridges do you know about in 32 caliber?
32.
I carry a 327 Federal. It takes that 32 H&R, and it also shoot the 32 long and Smith & Wesson.
Cool. And what kind of revolver would that be, Richard?
That is a Ruger SP-101 stainless.
Nice.
It's hard to beat a Ruger, man.
Yes, sir, it is. I got plenty of them.
Have any of y'all ever heard of a 32 RG?
RGs are
no. Can't say I've heard of that one.
Yeah, I've heard of RGs, and it's not a good thing usually.
Let me sneak in before this comment goes away. Larry Palmer, no, a membership is not required for range usage at all. They just charge you the regular non-membership rates. But if we invade them like we did last time, they may waive some of those like they did for us. So don't let that discourage you. As far as the 32, we got the 327 Federal Magnum, the H&R, the 32 long, and yours will actually shoot the 32 shorts accurately?
I don't know about the shorts. You got to have a rim, and the 32 long has a rim. The 32 auto has a very slight rim. It's not.
I meant 32 auto, not 32
auto. Yeah, I believe I can still shoot those, Kyle.
I was trying to shoot 32 autos out of my 32 long Colt, and it just no.
No.
I mean, that is it's a cutting torch that you hold in your hand if you put your finger in the wrong spot.
Whoa, that's not good. Not good.
I mean, you got like an inch of bullet jump. It's not good at all. Yeah, no. When it says 32 LC, that means 32 long Colt, not 32 auto.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and the 32 long Colt is a very different cartridge.
Yeah.
The shooting 32 longs or 30, I'm going to say 32 longs is what I would recommend if somebody's going to shoot. If you got an H&R mag, I say, you want to try something different, go with the 32 longs. And you got a 327, go with 30. The 32 long was actually a target round for many years. Yep. And it seems as though it just doesn't care, and it proves dang near accurate in almost anything, regardless of the massive amounts of free bore that it has to deal with in a 327 revolver. Too many people I've seen with single sevens and stuff like that shooting 32 longs with great success. So, that would be now the 32 Smith & Wesson. No, I don't. I haven't had much luck with that thing in anything. But I could be wrong. The little shorty 32s. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that I've shot in this one so far is the 327 Federal. I've got some H&R Magnums loaded up, and I haven't shot them yet. So the accuracy that I'm getting off of that 327 right now at 25 yards is pretty phenomenal. It's quite impressive for a little double action revolver. I was shooting the factory loads, 85 grain soft points. I was printing about a nickel-sized group at 25 yards. I got just about the same accuracy out of one of my hand loads, and that little 32 auto bullet works quite well. That little FMJ, I got just about the same accuracy off of that as I did with the factory stuff. I've got a cast bullet that's a 95 grain, and I haven't really shot that a whole lot, but I did group one group. It was about an inch at 25 yards. It was pretty decent.
That's not bad at that range from that type of firearm.
Oops. What's that, Kyle? I stepped on you.
No, I said that's not bad at all at that range from that type of firearm, period.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I got a good price for it when I bought it, and I had a 45 ACP that I was carrying, one of my ex-duty guns, and pair of ordnance P14, and it just got so daggone heavy. It just got too much to carry, plain clothes. So I said, you know, I think I'm going to try that 327 Federal and carry it. And boy, I'll tell you what, it makes a heck of a lot of difference. They're making speed loaders for it.
I'm leaning toward the 38 Special, one of those little Smith & Wesson, one of these, I think they're close to a J-frame, whatever they're calling them now.
Little snubby?
Yeah, it's the practicality of it. I think, you know, I mean, for being in the service and carrying that big old Beretta around, I recognize that a big, heavy gun is more annoying than it is helpful, or, you know, it's just you end up not taking it places because it's in the way. You're going to print no matter what because it's big, and so I agree. I think a concealed carry in 327 Federal mag is just perfect. It's a great round. I would 32 mag. The bullet technology has gotten so much better. Back when 32 mag came out, it was supposed to have the exact same or be more powerful than a 38 Special. The problem was bullet design was, and they didn't act right. And now bullet design has gotten so much better. And with the speeds of a 32 mag, when you run them upright, they expand very well. They put all the energy on the target. They don't over-penetrate as bad as some of the other ones, and it's a great round for self-defense or carry. 327 Federal mag is actually even better because it's easier to get good expansion with a 110 grain bullet. It's just really, I just find the 32 to be very underutilized. And when people say it's small, I laugh because most of our rifles are smaller than that in bullet diameter. It's like, you know, what are you talking about when you say a 32 mag or a 32 is small? We killed deers with 25 calibers, 243s. You know, I don't understand kind of the mentality behind that, but I think we're just so used to, you know. And I love my 45 ACP. That maybe.
Now, as soon as I can, I'm going to run some of them through the chronograph. That's got a 4-inch barrel, and I think I'm going to be pushing pretty close to 1,400 feet per second.
Oh, they're hauling ass.
What's that?
I said, oh, they're hauling ass. They're moving.
The things are moving for a little 4-inch barrel, and it's like you say, they expand well, they perform well. Honedy is making the 32 caliber XTP for it. You got Critical Defense out on the market for it. You know, so if you're going to carry a a nice, handy, easy recoiling. And it's got just about the same horsepower as a 357 Magnum.
Now you talking the 327 Federal or
320? Yep, 327 Federal.
I've got some. Excuse me. I've got some chronograph data for you. I'm using my phone right now as a camera, but before I shot my Caldwell chronograph, I've got a bunch of data from the 32 mag, 327 Federal mag, all kinds of stuff. Buddy of mine gave me a bunch of his reloads and his pistol. He said, take these and shoot them through the chronograph. I want to see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of that kind of data, and Jesus, those things are smoking.
Yeah, they are. Ain't no slouch.
I don't know if you guys saw or remember, because it's been a while, but when I did my first video on the H&R Mag reloading series, I shot some over the chronograph. Those were hand loads, and I had absolutely no idea they were going that fast.
28 to 32?
I was 1,400 feet per second or so, and that's way faster than they're supposed to be going.
Oh, no. Wait for it. I'll send you screenshots. These are stupid.
Well, I'm saying if you're sticking with tabulated data, there you go. So
that's the Hornady XTP 85 grainer, and they do make a speed loader for that thing. That is a fast, high-producing cartridge. Oh, let me get back there. There we go.
Now, what is that, Richard? That 32 H&R Magnum?
That one is, I believe. I think that's some of the loads that I loaded on that. Yes, it is. That's the H&R. Get into my carrier.
Oh, yeah. The 327s get ignorant. They are ear-piercingly fast.
Very. Now, this is a Federal. That's the mag. Oop.
Yep. I was about to say back it up just a little bit.
That's that 32 caliber FMJ.
Yeah, well, there was a bunch of 32 caliber cartridges back in the day, and my son's got a friend who needed some 32 RG. And I did a little bit of research, and I found 32 long rifle, 32 Smith & Wesson, 32 Smith & Wesson long, 32 H&R Magnum, 327 Federal Magnum. And, I mean, you can make a list of the stuff, man. I mean, there's a lot of versatility in that caliber.
Yes, there is.
Actually, I've showed Jamie the chronograph readings. He's like, holy crap. I'm like, yeah, those are hot.
yeah. Now, it's interesting because the only reason why the 327 Federal Mag exists is so that they could not jam it into an H&R revolver.
Right.
Because the power, the case capacity of 32 H&R Mag is plenty large enough to get you the speeds that you get out of a 327 Federal Mag. But because of that doggone, I love H&R revolvers, but because of that conglomerate, when they built those on those chintzy revolvers, they had to cut them back way far. I think they were supposed to be 1,200 plus feet per second out of the box, and they turned out to be a lot of them close to 1,000 feet to keep those H from beating them loose. And it's like that we've heard of that before, where a revolver round gets detuned and it just stinks. But I'm glad that Federal and Ruger got together to do that.
There's Lead Bullet Junkie.
Oh.
Scotsman said we have 52. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. And the numbers just continue to overwhelm us here. There's Phil M. Rivers. So we still got them coming in, guys.
I can't see the side chat, but I do want to say hello to everybody on the side chat.
Well, there's a bunch of them out there looking at you, brother.
Yeah, I'm still 57 right now, Jamie.
Yeah. My phone don't track
Oh,
that.
never mind. I just had to. Yeah, I do appreciate everybody coming out for darn sure. So what were we going to be talking about tonight, Jamie? I lost track.
I wanted to talk about how we go about picking a powder charge for our rifle rounds, particularly with cast bullets when there's not a lot of data out there. And one of the reasons I wanted to do that was because Chico's getting into rifle reloading here soon. And I wanted to arm him with as much knowledge as we possibly could, except for the fact Chico ain't here. So,
well, then we can just move to another one and bring that up next week.
Yeah, we can do that.
One thing that makes me upset is Chico's tumbling an awful lot of 30-06, but he's talking about getting a 308.
Yep. I got 3 of them.
I don't know what he's getting ready to load for.
I think he's going to be reloading. He's going to be reloading 38 and 357 for that Rossi, but he's also going to have to get himself a 308 because he's got so much brass for it.
Well, what is he tumbling all this 30-06 for?
He's giving it to me.
Oh.
So I can turn it in.
Range. Okay.
So I can turn it into 8mm Mauser brass.
I got you now. I got you. He's just really taking care of you then, ain't he?
Yeah, he is.
Got to take care of Paw.
Hey, man, I hear you.
That's right.
The 30-06 laying around, I have to look.
Somebody needs to. I'm getting to where I can't take care of myself anymore.
Oh, come on, man.
I know. My dad went to the emergency room yesterday, and
oh man,
they didn't tell me. It was like Harbin Clinic calls me up today and says, "How's your dad doing?" And I'm like, "Who is this?" And they said, "Well, this is customer care at Harbin Clinic. We saw where your dad went to the emergency room, and we couldn't get in touch with any of them at the house, and we were calling you to see how he was." And I'm like, "Well, that's the first I've heard of it. I do not know, but I'll find out, and you can call me back later." So, and then I'm thinking, yeah, y'all never call and check on me.
Well, they didn't check on him. They called somebody else.
Yeah, well, he's got COPD and congestive heart failure, and
oh boy,
it's just one of them things. He turns 80 in August, and so Nick L, I'm glad you're here, buddy, and I'm glad you took your wife out to dinner. That way, you ain't got to wash the dishes after she cooks. But Scotsman said that Jerry, leave my hookup alone. Scotsman said he thought that was an excellent topic. So if y'all want to talk about it a little bit, we can always shame Chico into watching the rerun. So, and the reason I bring this up is I've been reloading. I've been loading up some 8mm, as y'all can well imagine. And, of course, I had to do similar stuff with the 35 Remington and other stuff. I mean, there's always a bullet you want to use for a particular caliber or for a particular gun that you don't necessarily have load data for. So what do?
Well, the best thing I can say, Jamie, is when you go to the Bible, that's a reloading manual. and you start comparing your calibers that are close to what you're working with, and then you go to your burn rate chart and start thumbing through that and see what we'll say with your 8x57. You take a 30-06 with a 180 grain bullet, and you look and see what kind of powders are available for that 180 grain bullet. Well, you can pretty much, not always, but pretty much do about the same thing with the 8x57 because it's a close caliber. I've done quite a few of those. I call them Black Street loads because there's no data available. And some of those calibers that I've got are wildcats. So there's no real good data to go by anyhow. So you kind of have to put, 2 and 2 to come out with 4 and work carefully. I definitely express carefully because you got to be careful when you're working with something you don't know a whole lot about. And other sources, of course, there's the internet. You can find what other people are using on the 8x57. Now that comes in a 185 and a 205 grain bullet, doesn't it? That 323 diameter.
I think it comes in more than that.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I got my book open to that page right here. Let me finish typing this.
All right.
But basically, Richard, that was just a question as to get us going on that particular topic. To which, let me get some stuff here. I got to get to my book. Hey, Ribby. Okay, Richard. This is a Bible.
Yes, sir.
This is a Bible. This is God's holy, inerrant word.
Yeah, that's right.
And I prefer the New King James translation.
Yep, I've got one myself.
When you talk about,
it's a reload manual.
Yeah, I've got that one. I got the 48, 49, and that 50. Also, there's something else too. You guys are working with a lot of cast bullets. Lyman makes a specific book. It's called the Cast Bullet Guide. It's got a blue cover.
Does it look something like that?
You got it right there. That helps. That helps.
It does. Go ahead, Nathan. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir.
I'll tell you what, one of the first things I consider if I'm going to try to work up a load for an unknown is first, what rifle am I shooting it in? That's the first thing I'm going to consider. Is the rifle old? Do I know what the action is going to do? Do I know kind of what the pressure needs to be for that action? I'll look in what what's that? Guns of America? Or no, that's not it. I had a couple big books full of different firearms and look for see if I can get some kind of idea of what the pressure is supposed to be for that action. Right, if you're using like a large ring Mauser, a Remington 700, type action, you have so much room for error. Try to work up a load, but if you're doing something that you have no idea on, and I'm reminded of my dad getting an 8x50 Austrian Steyr back when they first started trickling into the country. Nobody knew what the gun really was, what kind of pressure the action could take or anything. And really what we would always start off with is some kind of military powder, right? So you've got 4350, 4895, and some of the other powders that were kind of milsurp-ish used powders, and then just well, I've got X number of case capacity, I've got this diameter of bullet, and then you start getting into a little bit of what Single Shot was talking about, trying to figure out, let me get enough to get the bullet out of the barrel, and then start working it up from there. And I mean, I remember, we were tying that damn gun to a tire and shooting it with a string to try to figure out what would happen, because we really had no idea. And by the time we got done working up loads for, the 8x50 and then eventually the 8x56, they'll knock your junk in the dirt. But we had no idea that the action could take that, until we've done a lot of the research, and then data started to trickle out there. So I would say that one of the bigger considerations is what kind of firearm you're working with. Are you working with an old rolling block? Are you working with, it's just, that's going to have a huge impact on how you do it. And if it's an unknown, you've got to start really low and work your way up. That's my 3.5 cents. I'm sorry. That could have been probably reduced to 2.
No, that's good. Good information, Nathan. That's a good way to do it.
Well, this book right here has 2 of the bullets that I'm using. Right, those 2 right there. And that would be the Lyman 232-470 and the Lee 324-175-1R, which I've got to buy that mold. I have the Lyman bullet in a single cavity mold, which is really good for load development, but it's really not the greatest thing in the world for production. I can cast 100 bullets and it takes like half a day, or at least it seems like it does. But let me show y'all what I come up with so far. I got it right here next to my heart. I've been working on these, and y'all see videos on these being shot, Lord willing. This is the Lyman bullet. Can y'all see that?
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
Good looking around.
Loaded 2.730 overall length. And I used a IMR 4064, and I started at 45.5 grains, working up to 47.5. And then this is the Lee bullet. Thank you, Charlie Brass Stuffer. That's the Lee 175 1R. And you can see I crimped those at the crimp groove, and that'll be good. These go from, these I used Shooter's World Buffalo Rifle, which is the same thing as Accurate Arms 5744. And I had such a wide range to work in there that I did 1 grain increments, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24 grains. And these are loaded to cast lead data. But the one that I'm kind of concerned about, that I've been on Slack talking with Charlie Brass Stuffer, which I think I've shown y'all this bullet before. I think it's a Lyman. I'm not sure. I'd have to dig in my notes. Check that sucker out.
Oh, yeah.
That's a 244 grain 323. So let me go into just a little bit of detail about how I come up with my charge for that bullet that I have, the 323-470. Is I weighed them after I got them casted and after I got them powder coated and gas checked, and I was getting weights more like 169.5 up to 170 and a little bit more. So I decided I was going to go with a 170 grain round nose jacketed bullet data, because after all, it is gas checked and powder coated. but I never go to the maximum. I like to start somewhere in the middle and kind of work both ways at once.
Good
And
idea.
hey, Will, glad you popped in, buddy. Will's just in time prepping. Y'all go check him out. He does some live streams during the day sometimes if y'all ever sitting around bored. But he's a fun guy. But so that's what I did is when I'm in a perplexed situation about the weight of my bullet, using that weight that the mold is advertising, and I'm coming out 5 grains heavier or so, I like to go to the next heavier bullet so as I don't create too much of a pressure situation instead of a bullet down 1 notch. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Some of the other like little things with cast bullets, because casts are a little bit different, and I've never been hugely worried, but when it comes to cast, because cast is, generally speaking, has more slickerosity to it than jacketed does.
Yes.
To get into a bit of a pressure situation with cast, because it's just in and out, pretty quick, but you're going to lead your barrel and all that nonsense. But one of the things I tend to do, I agree with you, Jamie. I'll go, if I've got let's say I'm looking at I've got a 210 grain cast bullet, and I have load data for a 200 grain jacketed and a 225. I'll use 225, but what I'll do is I'll find a powder that's too fast for that 225, and I'll use that. So I try to go with a little bit faster powder because the cast is going to like that quicker burn to get a good obturation, and to kind of, I don't want to say cut the heat down at the end, but it is sort of. So I try to speed my powder up a little bit, and I do what you do where I go up a weight, and then just kind of start off relatively conservatively so I don't, have to get out the chore boy.
I think we're all on the same page with that. You take your cast bullet, you weigh it, you see what it is. It's 168, but you've got cast or a jacketed bullet data for a 170. I'll start based on the powders that I'm going to use or whatever on the low end of the 170 side, and just, okay, Beauregard, be quiet. I got my big bullfrog. He's starting to chime in. Yeah. Don't worry, it's coming. I'll start with the next heavier bullet, because you're not going to be overcharged. And most of mine are powder coated. Some of them are gas checked, some of them are not. I haven't really found a huge difference between the two as far as just planking rounds. If I'm looking for accuracy rounds, I'm going to gas check them, and that's what I'm going to do my testing on, because that is the most accurate, so to speak. So otherwise, why would you do it? But I've never had a problem. I start on the low end of the next highest. I mean, because I'm loading some weird stuff in 44 Magnum and 308 and all that stuff. I mean, find a 208 grain cast bullet load data for a 308. You ain't going to. I've had to do a whole lot of well, I mean, you can, but you're going to find it on some forums and stuff like that. I've developed my own. It seems to be working. I just got to fine tune it. A 1/10 of a grain down, 1/10 of a grain more. I don't know yet. I haven't been able to make that happen. I'm hoping to become a member up there at Dead Zero, where I can just take a couple of boxes of ladder loads and see what I can do. But as long as you go to the next higher weight bullet, I don't really see it being an issue. Would you?
Well, with those rounds I've got with that bullet that I cast, using that 170 grain data with the IMR 4064, I'm expecting velocities around the 24 to 2,500 foot per second range. And if it don't shoot good, I'll just back down.
Yeah, I mean, the worst that's going to happen is you have to clean your gun a bit. It is a word now. What I was talking about earlier was Cartridges of the World. If you don't have that, it's a really good book to get starting information on actions, different milsurps, and crap like that. It doesn't have the in-depth stuff that some people have, but it has pretty good. And Big Al, thank you, sir. I am very tickled with my shirt and my Mets hat, Dagnabbit.
Yeah, we all need to get us some shirts like that.
Well, now that I've got a proof of concept, and I'm going to make some changes because I've got some printing on the back as well. I'm going to get rid of that and do some. I've already done the changes, and I'm going to do the stuff and have Bacon put it on TRN. So if anybody wants them, they can get them. I'm making some changes to make it cheaper because the printing on the back adds extra cost that's not really necessary. So thank you, Willie. It's interesting going through Bacon's company. I don't want to talk about it too much. The printing on it looks almost like it's already been through 3 or 4 washes. It's a little bit like it's sharp, but the coloring itself is like a little bit muted. So it's not real. The coloring isn't real bright. So it's probably only going to last probably 10 or 20 washes before it starts to fade. But I'm all right with that. Norma has a new book. Mario in the chat. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Mario.
Cranky, you can't give me too much crap about the Mets because the Phillies imploded too.
Oh.
I think one of the things that gripes me is I'll have load data and I'll get so excited. I'm like, okay, there's some 48.95. And then you look closer and it's H48.95 and you've got IMR 48.95.
Be careful.
Or vice versa. And I'm like, well, we'll just back it off 10% and work it up. But
that's the safe part.
With the Shooter's World powders, which I really encourage y'all to start trying some of those, y'all be impressed with that stuff, really. They're run about anywhere from $15 to $25 a pound, whereas some of this IMR stuff and the Hodgson stuff, I've found some bottles up there I paid $35 a pound for. And but if you will go to Shooter's World website, and if you have any questions about load data for anything, they have a ballistician. And if you will send him an email, don't put your phone number in the email or he will call you. If you want him to call you, put your email in there because he definitely will call you. And he'll talk to you as long as he needs to help you understand what you're doing. And he's the one that told me that Shooter's World Buffalo powder is the exact same thing as Accurate Arms 5744.
I'm telling you, when we went to the gun show over here by my house, Jamie, I gathered enough pamphlets just because that's kind of who I am. I want the information on me, not the internet. I've got plenty of information. If y'all have got any Shooter's World questions, call me. I have all the Shooter's World powders, comparators powders, where you're at. If you need to back it off 2%, bump it up 2%. I've got all that. And y'all can't see me. I look like Daniel. Hey, Daniel, is this how you do all the time?
Hiding in the booth.
Georgia boy, actually, they do, Pastor. I don't know which one it is, but if you'll get in touch with me, they'll flat put it on you because all of the Shooter's World powders that we have today used to be Accurate Arms powders. Accurate Arms used to be the LoveX source for the United States. But then Western Powders bought out Accurate and started replacing the LoveX powders with their powders that have similar burn rates. And if you'll go to...
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jamie.
If you'll go to their website and download their, they have a burn rate chart, and all of their powders are listed on there as far as to what the rate they burn and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of easy to figure out. Yeah, the Heavy Pistol. Rune's the guy to talk to. He's over there in that stuff. Man, thanks for being here, Rune. I love to watch his videos. I've only got to watch a couple of them so far, but I'm really liking him. If y'all pick up what happened to Richard, he had to go. I've got a burn rate chart from.
And everybody keep in mind that JH586 is in no way sponsored by Shooter's World Powders.
Yeah.
No, man. JH586 is sponsored by JH586, and that's why he likes finding a deal and a bargain.
I've not used that Shooter's World yet, Jamie, so I'm learning.
Everything that I've tried, Richard, I've loved. Their heavy shooter or heavy pistol is spectacular. The 300 blackout powder is, or what is it? Shooter's World Blackout. It's comparable to 110, I think, Jamie.
Blackout. Shooter's World Blackout. The LoveX powder is D063 for Mr. Rune. That's the same thing as Accurate 1680, Winchester 680, and Reloader number 7.
Okay.
But to answer the pastor's question, when you go on their website, you can print off this little pamphlet right here. And I did mine on a copier, so I got double-sided pages and had it stapled and all that. So anyway, when you get on,
just a perk.
It is. I earned it, baby. Let me tell you what. Heavy Pistol, which is what Rune was telling George Boy. Heavy Pistol is D037.2, which is the exact same thing as Accurate number 9.
Huh.
On the burn rate chart.
I can see side chat right now because I'm on the back porch, but yeah, I've got. If anybody needs any information, contact me at lust.kyle2@gmail.com, and I can send you all this information. It's amazing, and you have all the translations to the Shooter's World powders. It's great.
That would be Eagle. Eagle, I had a question. Is the Shooter's World powder all single base? That would be a negative, sir. Let me flip on in here for a minute.
Thank you, Jamie, because I'm away from my info bank.
Match rifle is a double base spherical propellant. Precision is similar to Hodgdon Varget. Long rifle is a single base. Shooter's World 4350, which is I happen to have it, and that's what I loaded up the rounds I shot at the 1,000 yards of my 270. That's what I loaded those up with.
As you were aiming at the leaf and the tree on top of the berm.
Yeah. AR Plus is a double base powder. tactical rifle, which I also have.
There's a lot of private jokes that we have about that weekend.
Tactical rifle is a double base. Blackout is a double base. Buffalo is a double space. So of these, I have Buffalo, tactical rifle, and Shooter's World 4350, and there's not any of them that I don't want to try. The heavy pistol worked so well for me and Kyle. We had no clue it was really AA number 9.
And that stuff is amazing.
Is that all ball powder?
No.
No. That's what he's saying.
Okay.
It comes in, the Shooter's World is, if I remember right, the Shooter's World 4350 is a little stick powder.
Okay.
And from what I recall, you get 1 pound, 4 pounds, and 8 pound jugs.
Yeah. Okay. Eagle's asking, what is the R26 equivalent? That would be, is that Alliant or Accurate?
Alliant.
Skip's 26. They don't really have one for 25, and nothing they got is down that slow. When you look at the burn rate chart right here, and this is their row right here, the slowest thing they got way down at the bottom is D100, and that's Shooter's World Love X. That's the same as Hodgdon's 50 BMG and Reloader 33.
Just because things match on your burn rate chart does not mean they match for volume. Do not take load data from one powder and use it in another just because they're the same burn rate. There can be major differences.
Period.
That's right.
Period. And like I said, always get in touch with that ballistician at Shooter's World. He'll tell you what's what.
And now, friend, this has been your friendly public safety warning.
Yeah, I like to do that when we kind of use generalistic terms because I never know who's watching. I mean, there's like 65 people on, and there might be a lot of new reloaders that don't want to comment in the comment section, and next thing you know, they think we're saying one thing when we mean another. So
if the powder is overflowing out of the case, chances are you don't want to see the bullet in there.
That's right.
Just say it.
That's right.
And now, if I have to tell you that, I probably shouldn't have had to tell you that. That way you can't repopulate.
When we're talking about,
sorry guys, I'm cutting up tonight. Yeah, whatever. I'm a little bummed that I don't have my puppy. I want my puppy.
So, Eagle, I don't have anything that's equivalent to Reloader 26, but their precision rifle is the same thing as Varget, the same burn rate as Varget, and IMR 4320. IMR 4320. So you can do like Richard was saying earlier, you can do a lot of good work with a burn rate chart and a couple of manuals and start low and work up.
Exactly. Start 10% down. See, and before you reload all that stuff, take to the range. Start 10% down. Fire a couple of shots. See what happens. Because there are subtle differences. And 10% may be on the high end of what you're doing. So just look at the primers, use common sense, Come on.
Lead Bullet Junkie had Hey, MCK, glad you showed up, man. Lead Bullet Junkie asks, is heavy pistol powder the same as Winchester 296? That would be a negative.
Yeah.
296 and H110 is the same powder. And heavy pistol is up about 2 notches faster than those two. Again, I say call them.
There you go, Jamie. Just reiterate that. Call them.
Yes.
We have actually managed to come up with some reliable loads for some oddball powders and some oddball cartridges. Not oddball, but stuff that a lot of people don't reload for, and everything seemed to work out great. Like you shot my heavy pistol 44 Magnum loads, and you liked them. Everything was fun to shoot. Call them.
Well, just send them an email, and they'll get back to you. They'll get back to you the same day, right, Kyle?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just call them. If you're starting a whole new powder you don't have anything to do with, you put a call in, an email in, or something like that, and somebody will get back to you within about an hour to an hour and a half.
I've had real good luck with the ballisticians from Western Powders as well. That's your Accurate and Ramshot. Those guys are real good to get info.
If you're not shooting cast bullets and you're a Sierra bullet fan, the Sierra bullet smiths are amazing. They will keep your information on file. They know what you're loading. They know what powders you're dealing with. And if you have a questionable powder, you call them and say, hey, what about this powder? And they will say, let me contact you in just a minute. And they will actually call you back. And then when you call in a month and a half later, well, how did this load data turn out? They keep you on file. I know some people may not like that, but they keep you on file as to what you're loading and what powders you're using, because all they care about is you're using Sierra bullets. So if you're using Sierra bullets with questionable powders, they will get right back to you. It's magic.
Is that too much light, guys?
That's perfect.
Good.
So Nick L had a good question that Nathan may want to delve into a little bit. How about COL? How does that affect the bullet? Your cartridge overall length, the shorter it is, I think the higher the pressure goes. Isn't that right, Nathan?
Well, Kyle brought up something earlier.
Depends on the round.
To that he was talking about 44 mag. We were talking about kind of starting off with rifle rounds. You have a lot of case capacity to work with, so you have a little bit of a margin for error. When you start working on pistol type rounds, when you're using a bullet that you don't have experience with, or there's no load data, it's not necessarily case overall length that is going to be the one that bites you in the patootie. It's how much of that bullet is down inside of that case, reducing your total case capacity. And keep in mind that when you have a small case like a 9mm, it may be like, oh, it's only a 1/16 of an inch, but you got to remember that is a huge percentage of that case, right? So the smaller the case, the more that is going to be very, very important, is to try to find a way to get a good idea of what the case capacity is going to be with that bullet. It's a super important thing to do. And when you start loading up towards the top end of any jacketed load, then you start worrying about that as well, because you're starting to push that case capacity issue. So yeah, bullet seating depth. For a great example of that is a 38 Smith & Wesson. This is the best example of that problem I run across. The 38 Smith & Wesson was designed for a very strange bullet that had a lot of nose on it. So it needs, I don't remember what the grain is, but let's say it's like a 140 grain bullet. You go, okay, well, I could just use my 147 grain semi-wad cutter on diameter. But the other thing is the bullet design has a whole bunch of that bullet jammed inside the case where that round was originally developed to have a lot of nose on it. So let's say you pick up your Lee manual because it has a lot of different grain of bullets, and then just pick, hey, there's a 147 grain bullet for 38 Smith & Wesson. Let me go ahead and load that. You're in a bad situation. And that's one of the reasons why when I'm talking to new reloaders, and I brought this up the other day on Headspace, read the front of the Lee book and then put it down and don't pick it back up again until you have some time under your belt. Because their assumptions with bullet shape can put you into a real bad situation if you don't know what you're watching for. So yes, Nick, your overall length can be a big deal, but it can be an even bigger deal when you're dealing with case capacity. Overall length can become a problem in rifles, bands, and all that stuff, but that's going to become very self-evident when you try to chamber the gun. Rant over.
When you well, and actually, you actually have to mention that pistol reloading and rifle reloading are totally different things. And rifle reloading for accuracy or for hunting, or are you looking to shoot your 30-30 at 1,000 yards? Probably not. Can you do it? Sure. If you spend enough time and you develop the perfect load, yeah, you can do it. You can send that 208 grain round 1,000 yard down range in perfect accuracy. But are we talking pistol or rifle? Now, pistol has more of a chance or less of a chance, depending on how you look at it, to blow your face off if you're off on your powder measure. I'll let you elaborate on that.
You talking to the frog or me or Jamie or Single?
I've been dealing with this a little bit, and I've come up with a good idea, I think. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong here. Okay, you go into your manual, and you get the trim to length of your cases, and you trim them to that length. Then chamfer and deburr them and all that. So we're all at the same cartridge length. Okay? Then measure your bullet. Like this one right here is going to be obsessively long, but let's just measure our bullet, the length of the bullet, like that. And you can see that we have 1.324 with a gas check and the powder coat. Add those two numbers together. So at this particular case, that is 2.235 plus, somebody do the math here, 2.235 plus 1.325. Add those two together. Subtract your cartridge overall length. The difference is the amount of the bullet sticking down into the case.
Good way to do it.
Then you can take this part, you take your caliper, dial it to that particular number that you just came up with through your math, and then you can take that part right there, rest the other two parts down on top of the case mouth, and then shine your flashlight down in there and see if you're touching the powder. Am I a crazy man?
No, I did a video on that.
That's
did a video
especially
on that
important for
one.
trail boss.
There's
Do
nothing
what?
easier than pulling the handle down on a reloading press on a compressed load, and you start feeling the powder go crunch, 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 and you're not even there yet.
Stop. Stop.
Shut him down, open hook shot.
Yeah, go get the bullet puller.
I mean, there's times when you're going to have a compressed load, and that's not that big a deal. But that you need to know what you're doing. That needs to be on purpose.
Yeah.
No, every 175 grain 308 round that we shot out at Tennessee was a compressed load.
Yeah.
It just wasn't that compressed. But the first time I started loading those, I was like, is this shit right?
Yeah.
You know, and then it became just, you know, a Wednesday afternoon activity. Ba-bink, ba-bink, ba-bink. I'm cranking out rounds. Because that's when I started loading the box of rounds that we shot in Tennessee. So, but hey, second shot, everything was dead nuts.
There's something about that that's rarely talked about. Talking about the 308, you don't damage too much of the powder, but a lot of the powder's burn rate is actually dependent not necessarily on the powder, but on the shape of the powder. For instance, Trail Boss.
Right.
Trail Boss is a nice slow powder, but the thing you don't realize is the Trail Boss is just as energetic as anything else. The shape of the powder is what makes it such a nice slow burning powder. So if you break down those little donuts,
you have a problem. If you compress Trail Boss, you will have a problem.
yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, if you're, and this is where it comes to some bit of a point is, let's say, and I people have asked me this before, cut a lot of powder and you do it in your powder measure and things like that, and you keep dumping that cut powder and stuff back into your can, you'll change the burn rate of that can of powder eventually, because that cut powder is going to burn slightly different. The difference reason why you don't notice is it's only a kernel, versus, you know, however many thousands are in that case. So when you're compressing powder charges, keep that in mind, that you are slightly changing the burn rate there. So you have to be careful when you start going that route. Don't be very careful with it. Fuzz says that Cranky sucks at survival because he's from the north. I think Cranky could argue that Fuzz could not survive in the north. Consequently, he has a survival skill that maybe us southern boys don't have, unless you're from Atlanta. Hey, Jesse B, I'm glad you could make it, brother.
I'm sorry about the frog. I'll go inside now. I know Uncle Jim wanted to hear the frogs. I'll go inside.
Miss Kitty, all brass is not created equal, but it ought to be. For all practical purposes, brass is brass. You just, with particularly bottleneck rifle cases, you really got to keep a close eye on it, because as I was prepping this brass right here, I found this one that you actually have to, well, that's not it. You actually have to feel for there's a crack in this thing.
That's what she said.
Yeah. I know. There's a crack in my rear end, but it still works. But anyway, what I'm saying is you can't see that crack in there, but with bottleneck rifle cartridges, you gotta anneal them every so often. But if you do, theoretically, they'll last a long time. With low pressure rounds like 35 Remington and 30-30, you should be able to make a cast load last for what? A long, long time, like 20
Definitely if you neck size. If you next
Yeah.
time, that brass will last forever.
I was getting, and these are compressed loads out of my 308 with 208 grain Hornady AMAXs. They're right there at the maximum. They're compressed loads. I was getting 9 reloads out of, once I got it, first time fired brass. So
Yeah, it's something that depends on the action, right? And you don't get as many reloads out of an auto as you do a bolt. And then if you have a bolt that's a springy bolt, i.e., a 303, you could have problems there. So there's a lot of things that go into it.
I've decided to limit it to 5 reloads, even though I have got up to 9, but I've limited it to 5 because I was out shooting with some friends of mine that traveled all the way from Iowa to come down here and shoot, and we started having ammunition malfunctions. So I'm like, okay, I'll back it up. This is where we're at. That's all I'm gonna do.
Jesse B Outdoors won 250 pieces of 9mm brass from Starline today. On it's not familiar with Jesse B Outdoors Instagram channel. He posts a lot of different stuff on there. So does a Crazy Scotsman. So does Inside Freedom. So does tons of people. I can't, West Desert Shooters. A lot of people on there that do a lot of really cool work and show a lot of interesting stuff on Instagram. If you're interested.
Now, have you guys seen that video that I did on case head separation?
Yes.
It's a silent movie. Sorry, I didn't know the audio wasn't going through. But that's one thing you want to start watching for when you're starting to reload bottleneck rifle cases. Because if you get that bright, sunshiny little strip that goes around the first third of that case, you've got a warning sign. Throw it in a scrap brass can. That's what I do.
Crush it, toss it.
Yeah, because you're going to have a case head separation like I did with that 308 that was in that video. And I've had it happen before. It's different calibers.
Yeah, I've actually had it most with 8mm Mauser, but that's because I was knocking the piss out of it. And I had some head space and kind of a bigger chamber and stuff like that. And I wasn't neck size, and I was bringing it almost all the way back down. So I started to, that brass wasn't going to last very long.
Yeah.
But like Jamie said, I mean, depending on what you got, you can make brass last almost indefinitely.
Oh, yeah.
With lighter loads, yeah, and a good tight chamber and stuff.
Lighter loads, keeping the primer boxes clean, keeping them trimmed, and they'll last quite a while.
I'll give y'all another too. Am I on here? Yeah, I'm not muted. How many of y'all have hole punches at your office? The hole punch paper? Yeah. If you ever go to look at a rifle and you want to check the headspace on it, you can take a empty cartridge with you and full length size it before you go so that it's to factory spec. Take one of those little circles out of your hole punch. That piece of paper is anywhere between 2 and 4 thousandths. You can put that either on the face of the bolt or on the back of the round and see it chamber. And if that thing, what I would do is I would use it first without the paper on it and see how easy it closes. If it's pretty slow you feel some resistance, that's a good tight chamber and a very well head-spaced rifle. But if it just flops down on that empty cartridge with it full-length sized, put you a piece of that paper, that notebook paper, and then you want to feel some resistance. You want to feel some cam over on that bolt. If you still don't feel it, put another piece of that little round paper and feel it close then, If you don't have any resistance or just a little bit of resistance at that point, find another rifle, because that's going to run you about 4 thousandths of brass stretch every time you shoot it.
And that works kind of primarily for bottleneck cartridges.
Exactly. But if you're buying a bolt action rifle, I don't know. I can't think of one that's not a bottleneck cartridge.
Well, rimmed cartridges are a little bit different in the way that they kind of headspace. So they act a little bit differently. That's all. That's all I'm saying. So if it's a 4570 or a 303 Brit or something like that, it's going to be a little bit different.
So 303 Brit is a rimmed cartridge?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I hadn't shot one in so long. I was 5.56 NATO. I'm not sure. No, I'm talking about bolt guns. Mad Sexy.
Yeah. Yeah, 303 Brit, that's why you don't see it a lot of times being rebarreled in other stuff for sporters, right? Because you look at a 303 Brit case capacity and you go, man, that would be great with a 25 or, a 2. You see that very often because it's a rim case. And it gets really weird with feeding whenever you do anything odd. And they just usually stick with 303 because it's easy and it used to be available everywhere. Now I think Canada and stuff, you can still buy it on the shelf all the time, but down here it's getting expensive. Yikes! Did you see those videos that Thorzak's did on his 303 Brit? I was impressed. He was shooting at 150 grain PPU. I think it was PPU stuff, and he was doing really well with it.
I got to catch up on him. I miss seeing Thorzak's. What I'll do is I'll go to work and be sitting there working and stuff, and I'll pull up one of you guys out there. I'll go out there and pull up your channel and go to videos and then click play all and sit there and watch all your stuff all day long, and probably not leave a comment on anything, but just watch them all.
And as far as 50 cal number of reloads, depends on what bullet you're shooting, how much powder you're putting in there. You can get up to 13, has been my experience, 13 reloads without case head separation. But it all depends on what you're doing. Let's see, who asked that question? Where did I see that?
So, Mad Sexy, the reason I was talking about bolt action rifles like that is because you can feel the cam over when you're closing the bolt. I don't know how that would work on an AR, because how are you going to tell if it's where it's staying out of battery?
Yeah, if it's fully closed or not, you can't even really tell because you can't feel it.
The only way you'd know would be to
pull
the trigger and
I guess.
Well, you can't go in there with a loaded primer in there. I mean,
no. I was just thinking. I mean, if I'm looking to headspace an AR or something like that, I'm just going to use go no go gauges because I know that's going to work.
Yeah, snap caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those no-go gauges can get pretty expensive when you start buying multiple calibers.
You can rent them. Yeah,
no way.
Yeah, you can rent them. I'm going to be renting them for my 257 Roberts because why pay $30 a piece for them? That's $60 for something I'm going to use for 15 minutes of my life if things go well. So you can rent them.
All right, Dead Horse. Who asked the 50 BMG question. Yes, you can get up to 13 reloads. Using a 750 grain AMAX with 215 grains of 872. Yeah. For those of you that aren't familiar, yeah.
That's a lot of powder.
You get about 7 rounds per pound. It all depends on the maximum pressure and how you're annealing your brass and if it was brand new brass to begin with, was it once fired, or all that, it can be anywhere from 5 to 15. What I found is 13's max. I wouldn't stress it any more than that, and I'm talking about annealing it every time. So you have to do your brass prep. So
You get a 50,
Now,
Kyle?
no,
Oh, okay.
it's been a minute, but I've reloaded for it.
Oh, okay.
it's fun. I think I don't know how much truth there is in a lot of stuff. At 50, I'm real 50 ignorant, but I did know a guy who had a Barrett. I don't know what model or whatever it was. And what he told me that he would have after about 3 reloads is basically case neck separation. It would start cracking around the actual case neck where the it started. That's where it would split. It wouldn't split at the head. It would just basically split around the case neck. I don't know how much.
And it
How
depends
common
on
that
how
is.
you're sizing it and everything else.
Yeah, and how much that stuff has to do with the gun itself. I mean, because 50s that's a broad range of guns out
But if you're shooting them through the same
there.
if you're shooting them through the same action, once they're fire formed, you can case or neck size anneal and or actually anneal, neck size anneal again, and you can get quite a few reloads out of it as long as you're not going stupid.
Yeah, Dead Horse. I think that's kind of what that my buddy was running into. Is he was using brass that was Milsurp brass that could have been shot out of a 1940s freaking machine gun or something that didn't have any any chamber left in it.
And Dead Horse, I'll also say that the biggest problem that I have reloading anything is 223 or 556. Really, taking the military brass and getting it ready to run in a semi-auto AR. That's been a real pain for me. I've broken like two or three decapping pins from on various dies.
Yeah, Scotsman. If you're just talking plinking rounds and reloading 50 cal, you can get about 10 reloads out of it if you do it right and anneal the case necks and all that stuff. You can get about that many out of it. Trim it down a little bit, but if you're actually loading for accuracy, yeah, you're not going to get but about 5 or 8 out of it for long range.
Mad Sexy asked about neck separation for bottleneck cartridges. No. It's not, I've seen it, but it is not the common way for case failure to happen for bottleneck cartridges. It just, each gun is going to act differently, and the way that the chambers are built is going to act differently. And that was just something that my friend had with his particular firearm with the 50. It does not necessarily mean that any other bottleneck cartridge is going to have that same type of failure point. Oh, what was I watching the other day? I wanted to bring this up. I saw Kenny was in the side chat. What the hell was I watching? Somebody was doing. Oh yeah. It was Logan was doing some accuracy or some bullet drop tests with the 350 Legend using that Winchester white box. As soon as I saw that box, I was like, "Oh no!" I'm like, I knew it was already done, but immediately I wanted to tell him, "Don't use that shit." When a friend of yours, you see him doing something, and it's like, "Oh, you're stepping in it," but it's already done and over. But it seemed to work out all right for him. But Lord knows what size those bullets are, what size that barrel is.
That was quite a deal there with him finding out that it was a headspace problem caused by the crimp on that casing. That straight wall case, headspace is like the ACP series. All your automatic Colt pistol rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all spaced on length of case. Boy, he was lucky he didn't get hurt with that one and it blew that primer out of that thing. Wow.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Mad Sexy, there's no I'm sorry's on here. Let me tell you something, brother. You ask any question you feel like you need to ask because we want to make sure you're safe.
Yes, sir.
And what happens and what Richard is seeing right there is when your bottleneck cartridge goes in the battery like that, this is where that's the bearing surface. That's where it's chambered, and that's what's stopping. When you get right here, then you'll have a little bit of a gap between your case head here and the bolt face there. Now, if you can get them to touch, you're in good shape, but that ain't going to happen. You've got to have a certain amount of gap right there to ensure chambering with your round. And everything's locking up in the battery so that you can fire the case. So with that gap right there, what happens is when the bullet fires, this part up here, your neck expands or obturates and seals the gas that pushes the bullet this way. And it also seals up this way. So what happens is right in here, which is if you took this case and cut it all the way in two, you would see that down in here is what we call the web. That's the thickest part of the brass. And it's that way so that it can afford to stretch a little bit. So when you go back to full length size, or when you full length size, you're pushing this back down. Your case is getting longer here, but this is still thin. It's a little bit thinner with every time you fire it. So that's what happens. That's what causes case head separation is a case that's been fired too many times. This part down here is stretched and thinned out and weakened over time.
That's when you get that bright, shiny ring around that bottom third of the case here, like I showed in that video. A lot of your head spaces are off of shoulders. Some of your casings are head spaced off of the rim. I've got Wildcat calibers that head space off both. So you got to set them dies just right.
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing. The sizing die setting up, everybody thinks, oh, you just screw it in until it touches a shell plate and you're done. No.
No. No bad no.
You have to know what you're doing. I've got certain rifles where I actually cam over the press to obtain the certain headspace. Hang on. Oh, it's right here. Looky here. I was just using it earlier. Using my headspace comparator.
There you go.
I'm trying to replenish
inflatable
308 that everybody shot while we were in Tennessee. So I'm reloading 308 and all that. I'm going to reload a bunch of 44 Magnum because everybody used that in Tennessee as well because I had a heat stroke and left all my ammunition on the firing line. But it's okay. We all had a good time, and that's what it was about. So tonight was 308. Tomorrow's going to be 44 Magnum. I should have a well-replenished arsenal of ammunition by tomorrow.
There you go. Kyle, I've got a new mold from NOE. It's a 224 Keith type. And as soon as I can get my hands on some lead, I'm going to start casting them things up, and I'm going to be doing some testing on that as well. I'd like to send you and Jamie some of those, along with Uncle Jim and a couple of other folks there. I got some 38 357s I want to swing out and let you guys try too.
I would actually really appreciate that.
Not a problem. All I got to do is have the lead. That's the thing. That's the thing. It's hard for me to come by.
Well, we can make that happen. I put my email address up there earlier, and let me know, and I'll send you some lead. I ain't scared.
Oh, okay. I've always loved that Keith type semi-wad cut of 245. I've had really good luck with that round with IMR 4227, 24 grains of powder with a standard primer.
I like 4227.
Like
that's a really good powder. It's
It
very dependable.
It is.
I
And
hate
like I
that
say,
powder.
I've taken down 6 deer with it so far.
Nice.
I was telling Georgia boy about how much I hate that powder. I hate it because it almost always works, but it's dirty and nasty, and for whatever reason, it's a pain in the ass for me to meter. And it's just a jerk powder that works really well. So I end up having to use it all the time.
Just because you don't like cleaning guns doesn't mean the powder's a piece of shit.
It's not a matter of cleaning the damn thing. It's a matter of raw powder running out the damn into the chambers. I don't understand that.
What are we talking about? Number 5?
4227.
IMR 4227, Jamie.
It's crazy.
I'm not familiar with that one. I've not used that one like ever.
I've used it in 44 mag.
It's a slower burning powder. And Jamie, no. I gave you some 4227 and your 35 Remington.
Oh, 4227. I've used plenty of that. I thought y'all were saying 4220.
No.
It's 4220.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Now you see where I was at, right?
Yeah, I've used it in a lot of those pistol rounds with great success, but it's just annoying because it just leaves everything dirty because it's just raw powder running out of it, but it works.
I've never had a problem.
I've also had good success with number 9, so
I've got actual go-to loads with 4227, but whatever.
You know, that worked good, and that's the powder I used in my Taco Apocalypse video.
Right.
I used 35 Remington and 357 Magnum.
yeah, I was when Georgia Boy was doing his latest thing with his 357 mag, he was asking which one he thought would be more accurate, and I voted for the 4227 just because it would be the most annoying one to be accurate. Surprisingly enough, it didn't turn out that way. Number 9 still was the one to go. But
I use it in 300 blackout on certain loads, and it's not a bad powder. It's just you have to use it for what it's for. You can't expect it to do what it's not supposed to do. So,
Right.
So Big Man Outdoors have all approved of your beard.
what?
The Mad Sexy and Big Man Outdoors have both approved of your beard to say it looks good on you.
Oh,
Keep
well,
that beard.
Okay, thank you. I can't wait for it to fill in.
It looks good, man.
Yeah, it does.
I've just been too damn lazy to shave here lately. And then Angel was like, hell, keep it.
Last time I did that it's been, 2 years since I've shaved.
What?
Jamie, it's been since October.
Well, November.
Yeah.
Oh, the No Shave November. Got it.
Mine started in November, but I think it was in 2017.
Mine started 2 days before we met up on July the 4th.
Yeah. Well, it's looking good, brother. Coming in nice.
Now I'm still waiting on this part. Too many chin straps.
Look, man, the Yeti brings up Jamie's beard. Now look, not everybody can hang with that. Like I couldn't. That would get so damn hot and annoying on me. I'd go berserk.
I
Same way with her.
I got the AC turned all the way down at work. It's like the AC set on 62. It's 74, And my office queen, who is our accountant, you know, she's like a 65-year-old woman. She's got her heater going.
Of course.
Good.
Cubicle. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
They call summer winters women's winter in the offices because
It's
you
going
know,
to be
during the summer,
120 degrees today.
yep.
God.
It's probably going to be like 85 degrees in this goddamn building, and you got a fucking heater going. Well, it's not
Hey.
what the temperature's going to be. It's what it is right now. I'm like, how about I just take a shotgun and blow every fucking power outlet out of your goddamn cubicle, and then you figure out where to fucking plug that goddamn heater in.
Hey, Kyle, the average equestrian just showed up.
But I didn't say that because she's the office queen, and we have to have the utmost respect for the office queen. So I was like, so I just turned my fan on.
Yeah, Mad Sexy, I got tired of the crazy Scotsman getting all the glory for the beard, so I had to let mine go for a while. Not really. I love the Scotsman.
The mad Squatchman.
He's something else, man. He is so fun to shoot with, y'all.
Yeah. Well, he's just a hell of a guy in the domestic or whatever. He's even a better guy than that in person. Just getting to know him, just a warm, genuine, nice dude.
I developed a really nice friendship with him when he stayed at my house for a couple of nights, and I was really honored that he would do that.
Yeah.
And we had a really good time the whole time. So yeah,
Chico!
yes.
Rape. Sorry.
Hey,
I
there's
saw
Scott.
Chico in the side chat. Where you at, man? Come on, get on here.
Yeah, he's probably on the road coming back to the house, I imagine.
It's getting
Yeah.
close to that time. We need to put Mr. Richard on the grill and just ask him a bunch of hard questions before we get off here. Not really, man. I just I hope you like those bullets I sent you. I hope they work good for you. And if I can send you some more, let me know. But it's gonna be a while, man. It's too hot to cast out here right now.
I cast in the wintertime, so don't feel bad, Jamie. I'll tell you.
Hey, brother, I
house.
watched Willie's video. He's out there. It's 100 degrees, and he's casting them damn zinc bullets. I'm like, shit. There goes my excuse.
Hold on, Jamie. Hold on just a sec. Dead Horse 1 just became your 400th sub, I think, is what's going on.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, so you now have 400 subscribers. Congratulations, brother.
Well, thanks, man. Let me tell you, it ain't been that long till I was doing my 300 subscriber giveaway. What was that, 2 months ago?
Yeah. Building like gang, man.
Well, thanks everybody. I can't thank y'all enough for coming in here and watching us on Friday nights, subbing my channel and all that. Man, y'all overwhelming, old man. Thank you so much.
Oh, shut up, old man. You ain't that damn old.
Yeah, I turned 57 pretty soon.
That's the new 37.
I'm 63.
That's the new 43.
That okay, all right, that's okay. Wait till y'all get my age.
Yeah, you're old, man. You're ancient. For what? Another 6 days?
Oh shit, Scott's wanting to invite too.
Well, so what you got going on there, Single Shot? What you got coming up that you're going to be putting out or talking about or doing?
Well, I'm going to start casting some more bullets here pretty soon. I'm going to cast up some of the 500 Smith & Wesson and put a scope on that one. I'm working on the single-shot rifle barrels. I've got a 204 in the wings. I've got more experimentation with Jamie's 308 bullets. I got the range mowed and all cleared out now, so I can get that target frame down to 100 yards. My brother came up with his 308 Encore, and we got that on paper and shot that at 100 yards. That shot really well. He's got the Pro Hunter. That's a 28-inch, I think it's 28 or 29-inch stainless steel fluted barrel. And we got that on paper. That's shooting real well. He got his 44 Magnum sighted in, and that's shooting real well. But mostly right now, I'm going to be doing a lot more chronograph work. I haven't done any of it yet. And I've got a lot of calibers that's waiting in the wings that's got to be chronographed. And we've got a lot of workups with the 6mm, 6.5, and 7mm TCU Wildcats, along with the 221 Remington Fireball. I got to get some brass for that one. And stuff's cool. Expensive. What's that?
Yeah. So that'll be cool. You don't see many people messing with that anymore. It's a neat round.
Yeah, it's because that shit's expensive.
Yeah, that it is. So we'll be looking to get a lot of that stuff done up. By the way, I'm thinking about putting a segue on my channel. Sometimes we want to get some information out or thoughts from the heart, whatever the case may be. So be looking for single shot echoes. That's going to be it's going to be thoughts of. I'm usually thinking about stuff on Memorial Day, Veterans Day, because I am a veteran, and you know, things like that. If it's not directly involved with the single shot world, and I've got thoughts that I'd like to put out, then we're going to put it on that segue of single shot echoes. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Jamie.
Well, man, I'll be looking for all that stuff, man. That 220, what was it, 220 Swift? Is that what you said?
221 Fireball. It's a shortened 223 case.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Something small and light and just freaking flying like a Saturn V rocket headed to the moon.
That it is going to.
I've been, you know how I am. All you guys say I remember all this stuff, but not really. I watch a lot of history type stuff. That rocket was going at like 12,400 some odd miles per hour at certain points. Probably faster than that most of the trip. Y'all got any idea how many feet per second that is?
Which rocket are you talking about? The Saturn V?
Yeah, the Saturn V that went to the moon. And by the way, it's over. They have one in a museum sideways over in Huntsville, Alabama. It's over 300 feet long.
Oh yeah, I've been inside of that bastard. It's great. I'm very familiar with Huntsville.
I like Huntsville. That's a great museum. I tell you, another great museum around here that's close by too is the Flight Museum down at Warner Robins Air Force Base. So, Kyle, what you got coming up, man?
Well, like I said earlier, I owe this to Julio. I haven't seen him tonight. He may have been in the side chat. I don't know. I've got a whole shotgun video that I have to edit. I might just reshoot the whole damn thing tomorrow. I don't know. But we're loading number 4 buckshot, and we're going to go shoot it.
Cool.
And Jamie, I would love if you would be present when we do, because if I blow my face off, at least I know you'll give me mouth to mouth. I don't know. We're going to have a lot of good fun, and Julio was gracious enough to give me this shotgun press, and I've loaded, and Uncle Jim gave me a bunch of wads and hulls and everything, and I'm really appreciative of all of that. And I need to show some gratitude, and I hadn't done that yet. And Julio sent me a text. Have you put that video up yet on the Reloaders Network? I was like, no, I'm not done with it. I've been working on it for 2.5 months. So that's what I've got going. Recently, I've been focused on getting a German Shepherd puppy, and I was kind of disappointed because I wanted to make her a guest star tonight, and it didn't happen. But that's okay. By 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning, I will have my new puppy. I say puppy. She's almost a year old. I will make videos on that. I will flood my channel with that, and then I'll put the shotgun video out. I got to keep y'all interested. And there's Chico. Anyway, it's been a great time. I'm sorry I missed a lot of the side chat. I was on the back porch for a lot of time, and it just happens. So I appreciate everybody coming by and dropping their information and asking their questions and giving us something to talk about. It really makes my Friday night. It helps me wind down a lot because my weeks suck. But I'm glad to spend them with y'all. Glad to spend my Friday nights with y'all. So there you go.
Well, thanks, brother. I've got one load for 35 Remington loaded up, and two, soon to be 3 loads loaded up for the 8mm Mauser to go test. I've got a 223 ladder load I've had loaded up for 8 months, but more important than what I got going on, I'm also going to do a VR to KFW for his 600 subscriber video. You guys need to get involved in that. Go watch his video on the Mauser stuff too. Warsaw, especially you, if you're still here. But my buddy Chico Wise put up a video this afternoon. Final thoughts on the Frankfurt Arsenal light tumbler, wet tumbler light. It's a cool video. I sent him a text earlier this week, and I told him, I said, you've been butting around, man. Now you let Gavin Boo beat you to the punch.
That same damn text. So Gavin beat you.
But he did do a great job on that video. That was a killer video.
Yeah,
so all you guys go check out Chico's video on the Frankfurt Arsenal wet tumbler light. So, I mean, he makes me want to get one of them suckers, man. They need to send him some commission money. But yeah, I'll be doing the 8mm test and the 35 test, maybe some 223 test, and might show up down at Kyle's house. And especially if you get a puppy dog, I might bring mine down there and let them play.
Hell yeah, let's do it. We'll set up a play date.
That'd be cool. I think somebody put her in the car and dumped her out. My dog Minnie don't like to get in the car. But anyway, we're running overtime, and with that, what you got going on, Mr. Nathan?
Well, first I want to say thank you to Richard Single Shot. Thank you for coming, sir. I really enjoyed talking with you and getting to know you a little bit. I want to thank all the people in the side chat and all the people that came in to watch. We had I saw personally 65, 6 or so thumbs up, which is really kind of ridiculous. I appreciate that. We got I know Dead Horse is up to I think 409 or 410 subscriptions. So I appreciate all the interaction with everybody in the side chat. It's been great. Thanks for Chico trying to stop in. So what I've got going on with what you guys are going to be seeing next is, and it's going to probably take a little while. I've still got my day 2 video that's going to be coming out tomorrow. Yeah, my day 2 for our shooting trip will come out tomorrow. But on August 1st, I'm going to be hopefully getting my membership at my local gun club. And what you'll be seeing coming after that will be the 32 mag tests and continuing the 450. And I'm going to keep working on the 257 Roberts. And once I get that all done, then you'll start seeing videos kind of leaking out over that. But go over one thing I want to bring up, guys. We didn't talk about too much. Head over to the Reloaders Network. I know that they're going to be doing a little bit of work on the actual page. So if you go to the Reloaders Network page and that page bugs you for whatever reason, it's going to be changing visually a bit to be a little bit more useful and a little bit more user-friendly. I'm not sure exactly when that's going to happen, but I'm looking forward to the change. I think I'm sure it'll be a great one. Go over to Headspace. We just started a new group for helping out new reloaders. So if you're looking for somebody to be kind of a reloading mentor, hop on over there. Me or any of the guys that are involved in that would be happy to do a live stream with you, or a Google chat or whatever to try to, not a live stream, but a chat to be able to kind of show you things. And I just really appreciate the opportunity, guys. I don't want to yammer on. I'm just glad to be here. I'm just glad to be in the game. But anyway, so we're going to be back next week, of course. We got the normal panels going to be here. We may have some guests. We may not. We may talk about some nonsense. We may talk about important stuff. Who knows? But I appreciate everybody coming out. And until next time, we will see you and have a good night.
Nathan, I got one more thing to add. Our chat will still be the same and at the same time, same date. But look for changes coming because Google Hangouts is ending as of August the 1st. So the way we appear on the screen may change a little bit. So we're trying out different stuff. And Nathan, I didn't mean to mess up your closure. You do such a good job. Say that one more time.
All right, everybody. Until next week, we will see you again. Have a good